So I started getting into makeup a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I would have found it very useful to have had sort of an understanding of what were the basic, like bottom tier, starting out as a hobby, what are some tools that you should get to sort of help you try it out reasonably and see if you actually like doing your makeup and want to get into it more, and buy tons and tons of stuff and never ever stop buying makeup stuff. So today I just wanted to do a quick overview of, in my opinion, what are some kind of basic tools that are good to start out with if you're just looking into makeup as a hobby and just not sure where to start. So all the makeup I'm wearing today I did using just the things that I'm going to talk about. I am just talking about tools, not the makeup itself. I probably will do a video along those lines in the future because I think that's probably helpful too. But this is basically assuming that you have had your eye on some stuff and have picked some things up. So for the purposes of this video, the basic makeup that you would use is going to be foundation, blush, eyeshadow, and pencil eyeliner. Also, obviously, I'm wearing lipstick and mascara, but you don't need anything extra to do those. You just buy them and use them. It's amazing. Oh, I forgot to mention that I'm in a new place today. Hi! I'm back in my home office because I talked about it in my last video and then just didn't show it off at all. Show it off at all. So here we are. You can see some of my wonderful stuff over my shoulders. Very exciting. I want to show you my raptor, my clever girl. Alright, so starting sort of from the bottom, starting with face makeup, to do foundation. I am wearing primer today. I'm almost always wearing primer under my foundation because I have to, because I have very oily skin. So you don't have to do that for the purposes of this video. Say that you have a foundation that you want to start using and you don't have a primer, it's fine, whatever. So to put your foundation on your face, you should have either a face brush or a beauty blender, which is just a sponge. My beauty blender is in rough shape right now. I have another one coming tomorrow. These are both from Real Techniques, just because that's what I have. You don't have to buy Real Techniques, but this is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. This runs you from $7 to $9 depending on where you get it. You can find these usually at Walgreens, CVS. I got mine at Ulta. And then this is also the Real Techniques, I don't know what exactly they call it, something beauty blender, probably all-in-one, blah blah blah. It's the orange one. You can usually find this for about $5. This is the one that I would recommend over the face brush. For one thing, it's a little bit cheaper, so you can save $3 by getting the sponge. Also, you can actually do more with this if you wanted to. So the way that I use this to do my foundation is I put my foundation on my finger and dot it on my face, and then I use this to like blend it out. You can also then go use this end. If you happen to be using concealer, under eye concealer, you can like press that in with the shorter end if you want to. It's helpful to get around your nose with your foundation using this guy. So this is really what I recommend as your like base tool. But as you can see, it gets a little gross. You can clean these, or you can keep repurchasing them because, I don't know, $5 is pretty cheap and they last for a pretty good while. So one of these would be my base recommendation for starting with your foundation as a hobbyist. Alright, next, say you want to put something on your face over your foundation. Today I'm wearing just blush, so that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about. Normally I would also wear some kind of contour or bronzer and possibly highlighter. And normally I would probably set my face with some kind of setting powder after I did my foundation. But for the purposes of this very basic, again, like just dipping your toe into getting into makeup, you're just doing your foundation and then you want to add some blush. So I recommend having a brush for your blush. A lot of blushes come with a little brush, like if you get a CoverGirl or a Maybelline or whatever, which are totally fine. I would recommend starting with a drugstore blush if you're just getting into blush, but I do not recommend using the little brush that they come with because they are useless. I don't know, unless you have like a very, very small face, I guess. So those tiny little brushes that come with the drugstore blush, don't try to use that. Just invest in a face brush. This is also Real Techniques. It's the blush brush. So you just, you know, swirl in your little blush and then you can just like apply it to your apples, back into your hairline. This doesn't pick up too much product, so you can kind of take it easy and not feel like you're gonna look like a clown all at once. And then if you like really wanted to, like if you also picked up some kind of contour bronzing powder, you technically could use this for that too. You'd want to make sure that it was really clean. You don't want to be using your blush leftovers in that other powder. We'll talk about cleaning brushes later. So this can be multi-purpose if you want it to be. I mean, it's a brush. The reality is you can do anything you want with any makeup brush ever. You do not have to use this for blush. You don't have to use the expert face brush to do your face expertly. These are just tools to help you put colorful dirt on your face. So do it however you want. But I think this is good for applying blush, which I think is sort of a good basic step up from just putting on foundation. So there you go. All right, so you've got on your foundation and your blush, and next you want to do some eyeshadow. So some eyeshadows come with a little foam applicator thing too. Again, I just don't think that's worth trying to use. It's just not gonna work. I don't think you necessarily need high-end eyeshadow to start trying eyeshadow, especially lately. A bunch of the drugstore companies have started putting out really cool little palettes you can get for like $10 at Walmart or whatever. Maybelline, I know, has some really interesting ones right now. You can also just get eyeshadow singles. I mean, you can use whatever you want. For the hypothetical of this video, you are interested in dabbling with makeup and want to see what kind of things you can do. So what I have on today is just a really simple 2 eyeshadow look. I just have like sort of a darker brown in my crease and then this kind of nice bronzy orangey color on my lid. So to do that, I recommend having 2 eyeshadow brushes. Again, you don't actually need anything. A lot of people just prefer to press their eyeshadow on with their finger. You could only get 1 eyeshadow brush and just use it for everything. That's fine too. But I think that this combo is a nice, like it'll give you kind of a range of options. And give you a feel for what different kinds of brushes can do, so that if this ends up being a gateway for you, like it was for me, you have some idea of where to go from here, building your absurd collection. These are also both Real Techniques. This is the Deluxe Crease Brush, and this is the Base Shadow Brush. I use these because you can actually buy them together in a set that I think was $8 or $9 on Ulta. It's probably cheaper, honestly, at Walmart or Walgreens or wherever else you can buy these. I don't usually buy directly from company websites, so Real Techniques might sell these themselves and they might be cheaper. So I keep using Real Techniques brushes. You obviously don't have to use Real Techniques brushes. You can use whatever you want. Elf makes pretty good brushes that are even cheaper than these. I'm gonna be honest, in my normal makeup life, I do not use this brush to put shadow on my lid. I did today because, again, they come in the set and that's what you'd use it for if these were the only 2 you have, and it's perfectly fine. I like something a little bit smaller than this and denser so I can really like pack on the eyeshadow. This is a brush that I use in my crease a lot still. Again, I do like something smaller for my second crease shade. But again, for the purposes of this, we're just talking about 2 colors. You use this one to put the one in your crease first, then you use this one to put some eyeshadow on your lid. Then you can be done. I did use what was left on this to go under my eyelids just a little bit to add a little, just to bring a little bit of the color down under there, because that's the thing to do. But I like Real Techniques eyeshadow brushes, and they're nice enough and cheap enough. So there you go. All right, those are all the brushes that I have to talk about, so I'm gonna kind of skip around here. We're moving to sometime in the future after you're done with your makeup. Probably you've done your makeup for several days or even weeks in a row, and now your handful of brushes are looking a little gross. If you're gonna start buying brushes, I think it's important to have a way to keep them clean so that you don't have to keep endlessly buying brushes or just keep using them as they accumulate colorful dust forever. This is the EcoTools Makeup Brush Shampoo. I just looked up how much this costs and I forget, but I think it was like $7. Definitely less than $10 for this bottle of brush cleaner. It's 6 ounces. You can tell this is a little bit gross looking. I have had this literally for years. I can't tell you how many years. And honestly, I don't clean my brushes as often as I should, so it's not probably great that there is still stuff left in this bottle. I'm just going to use the blush brush as an example. So if you were going to clean your brushes with this, you'd just go to your sink, not kitchen sink. Well, you can if you want, I don't know. Probably your bathroom sink. I just put a little bit of water in my palm, put a little bit of water, warmish, not hot, on the brush. Then you would pour a tiny, tiny bit of the brush shampoo into your palm, take the brush, swirl it around, you'll see it turn all sudsy and pink. Then you just rinse the brush out under the sink and then dry it. Probably try to dry it upside down on a towel or something, so that if you dry it this way up, all the water obviously will just go down here. which will cause you problems. It won't be as easy to use. Your bristles will start falling out. It'll get kind of gross. So you dry it upside down, but this stuff works really, really, really well. This is the same blush brush that I've been using for years and years and years and years because I keep getting it completely clean with this stuff. I will say that's not true of every brush. Like if you use the Expert Face Brush for your foundation, I find that foundation caked brushes are a lot harder to get clean. Obviously, if you're using a liquid foundation, that's harder to clean out than like pink powder. So it's not a miracle worker, but it's a really good way to increase the life of your brushes and make sure that you're not like putting the same gunk on your face over and over and over again. There are other options to this. I actually think also Eco Tools makes a wipe, so like a brush cleaning wipe. I actually used that and it didn't work as well for me as this stuff did, and it's less long lasting obviously because you use one and then it's gone. I just think this stuff is great. It's a pretty cheap investment and it's good. So get the brush shampoo. All right, so last non-brush related, I mentioned pencil eyeliner at the beginning. I have trouble with pencil eyeliner, honestly. I am wearing it on my lid today for the purposes of this video, but I never do that anymore in my regular makeup life. I find that using sort of a marker-shaped liquid eyeliner is actually easier for me than using a straight-up pencil for actual lid eyeliner. I do still use pencils all the time for tight lining, which is just like you draw a line here or here. Regardless of whether you're using it all the time for everything or just occasionally to try to stab yourself in the eyeball like I do, you're going to want to invest in an eyeliner pencil sharpener. You know this if you ever used a pencil eyeliner, but it's like you uncap those things and they look beautiful. They're so sharp and they glide on and it's amazing. And then you get to do that maybe 3 or 4 times and then suddenly it does what pencils do, which is get dull and less precise. And you start making a mess and it doesn't feel right anymore against your eyelid. Your options for this are basically, I mean, you can get any kind that you want. It depends on where you shop and what you want to do. If you walk into Ulta, you can buy their pencil sharpener. I don't know if it looks like this anymore. This one's kind of gross. You can tell I've had it for a long time. The double barrel's nice because you can use a small one for eyeliners and the bigger one for if you have like the bigger lip. They look like crayons basically. Those need to be sharpened too. So this is nice if you happen to have those and need that. I don't know where this is from, but it's a great little sharpener. I'm sure it was very cheap. It doesn't even have a brand name on it. It has a number 3 on it. This is obviously more simple. This would be just for an eyeliner. Whatever is not going to set you back a lot of money, because again, we're talking about very basics here. But I do recommend getting one. You can probably find one at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Target, I don't know, wherever you want to go to buy an eyeliner pencil sharpener. All right, that's all I brought to talk about for this one. I did quick math, and you can't really trust me on this, but I think that everything I showed, if you use the sponge, the blush brush, the 2 eyeshadow brushes, the brush cleaner, and a pencil sharpener, all of that combined would set you back about $30. To me, that's a pretty reasonable investment to get started in a hobby. Painting, my mom is into painting a lot lately as a hobby, so again, you'd have to spend money on paint, canvases, brushes, probably brush cleaner, heyo! Anyway, again, you don't need any of this stuff. You don't need to get into makeup. I love it a lot, but man, I'm just saying that I spend a lot of money on this well-beloved hobby. Is it worth it? Not sure. But if you're asking yourself if it might be worth it, those are my suggestions. I might eventually do an actual, like, putting the makeup on version of this if that is of interest. All right, that's it. I hope this was helpful, informative, interesting, what have you. No, I haven't been using my microphone. If the sound is really bad, I'm so sorry. I just realized I filmed this whole thing without my little mini microphone. All right, that's it. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.